Imagine meeting someone and feeling that instant magnetic pull. Love at first sight.
I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this.
What if we told you that it's just your brain at work? There's an intimately personal yet universally recognized thing that has puzzled the human mind for centuries. It's a thing called love. Love means many things to different people. To some people, love is a whirlwind romance straight out of a Hollywood movie. One look in a dark room meant just for you. A light-hearted joke leaving you wonderstruck, blushing all the way home. But to some others, it's a slow-burning flame with a deep connection that grows stronger day after day. There are also those who think of love as a battlefield, constantly struggling to keep the flames burning. Love can really be a roller coaster ride of passion and pain, laughter and tears, but many times we define love based on our personal experiences, and we only define it when we are either falling into it or after a heartbreak, which is understandable because love can be really sneaky sometimes. This minute, you're living your normal life, and next, you meet someone new. The sparks are everywhere, your heart flutters, and just like that, the stage is set for a new love story. Well, surprise, your brain is the mastermind behind the scenes, the movie director. The shocking truth is that love isn't just whimsical, it's also chemical and logical too. You call it love, but a lot of interesting psychology is happening up there. But what does the human brain have to do with all of this? Everything. The human brain releases a cocktail of chemicals from I love you or be mine to it's over. You know you're falling when you meet someone for the first time, and in a second, they're all you can think about. You even catch yourself daydreaming about them and having an insatiable desire to be around that special someone. But why? There's just something about their smile that makes our hearts race and palms sweat with a fuzzy feeling inside, all at once. We blame their glassy skin and perfect figure, but could it be something deeper, something etched in our memories and buried in our minds? What makes us fall in love? It's pure chemistry.
I don't know the steps.
Neither do I, just go with it.
It's not the kind between you and your crush, but real, natural chemicals in the brain. Brain chemistry. Whenever your brain serves you a cocktail of oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, you can be sure that love is in the air. Although there are specific things that trigger the release of these hormones, there are also different stages of release. You can call them stages of love. The first stage, which you might call love at first sight, is what psychologists call infatuation. Yeah, it hurts to hear that your newfound and budding attraction for that potential significant other is just an infatuation. But hey, cheer up. It won't be an infatuation forever. There's always the fate factor in every romance, and some people believe in the phrase destined to be. Whether soulmates actually exist or it's just a myth, one thing is sure: love, especially in its budding phase, can be almost intoxicating, and we have our brains to blame for that. All because of an increased activation in the ventral tegmental area, VTA. Now, the VTA isn't a bad guy. It's pretty much your biggest motivation. It's the reward processing and motivation center of the human brain. It's triggered when you have your favorite meal or snack on a mouth-watering treat, when you get a new job, and some other times when you get high on you-know-what. But the VTA isn't activated every single time you meet someone new. That's where romantic choices come in. Everyone has a prototype partner deep down, and your brain instantly recognizes anyone who meets the criteria. Our romantic interests are actually greatly influenced by personal relationships, books, movies, and even how we are raised. If a person reminds you of a happy memory or has certain qualities that you admire in yourself, you might find yourself attracted to them. Turns out that, contrary to the cliche that opposites attract, we are more likely to fall in love with someone who shares our beliefs, interests, and personality features. When the VTA is triggered, it gives a feel-good effect because it releases dopamine, so your brain automatically wants to repeat that action or event all over again just to feel good. The same thing happens when you're in love. You find yourself wanting to be around that person again, wanting to hear their voice. It's easy to see that love comes with a sense of euphoria. In the infatuation stage, you're practically on cloud nine, blind to your partner's faults and inadequacies. You see them as perfect, the best thing that happened since sliced bread. Now we can see why romantic love is biochemically indistinguishable from a severe obsessive-compulsive disorder. Ouch! Well, that's until you hit the next stage, attachment. Everything begins to change from here. Unfortunately, the infatuation stage, where you see life through a rose-colored lens, doesn't last forever. After a few months, it fades away and ushers in a more lasting stage. So, it starts as a sugar rush and ends with a steady and well-balanced diet. The second stage of love is called attachment.
Marry me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
During this stage, thanks to oxytocin and vasopressin, you'll feel very relaxed and more committed to your partner. Understanding and a deeper connection are usually built in this phase. You'll want to know what they like and dislike, who they're with, and what they're up to, just wanting to be an essential part of their lives. And it's not far-fetched. I mean, we humans are social animals. We thrive on relationships. So, falling in love with that special someone actually really helps us bond and provides a sense of belonging. After all, who doesn't need a teammate in this crazy game of life? When all the sparks and giggles are out of the way, you start to see your partner for who they really are. You'll know their strengths and weaknesses. You'll see the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of them. And at this point, you'll either love them more and continue your love journey, or you begin to dislike them a little more by the day until eventually the feeling fades. Heartbreak. Love is a real bed of roses. You just have to watch out for the thorns. The more pricks you get, the more disagreements, and the more you drift apart until eventually it is no more. What happened to all the emotions and butterflies? Here's where it gets interesting. What if I told you that the very thing that brought you together would also tear you apart?
I thought you were different. But you're not.
First off, those butterflies weren't even butterflies in the first place. They were actually hormones your brain released to ensure that you don't remain a single Pringle forever. So, yeah, you don't need to beat yourself up about that. But, the only thing is, it takes more than just hormones to make a relationship work. Hormones will never teach you and your partner to say the right things to each other. If anything, they would stir your conversations in the same direction every time. This is true if physical touch is your primary love affirmation, but when it's words of affirmation or acts of service, you're in for a bumpy ride. The truth is, falling in love isn't a hard thing, but staying in love is. So your hormones can actually help you pick up a guy or girl partner that likes something fresh out of the cover of a Vogue magazine, but your hormones can't make them stay. That's on you and your partner. You both need to put in the work because it takes two to tango. lack of trust, taking relationship advice from every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and the trauma and baggage from your past will only strangle your relationship. When your rose-colored glasses start to lose their tint, you'll start to notice that they leave the toilet seat up or want things that they don't need. You can try to compromise or just back out of the relationship completely. Science and hormones help to kickstart your love journey, but you are the one who will have to reignite the spark before it's too late. If you leave it to science, you'll be left with a broken heart. It won't be easy. Nah, it never is. Regardless of the reason you had to leave a relationship, there will always be pain from the heartbreak. And once again, you can thank your brain for that. When you and your partner agree that it's over, your brain activates the insular cortex. That's why the pain from heartbreak is always very excruciating and very real.
I don't blame you for
It's
not letting-
over.
And like every other pain or rejection we feel, it starts with denial. You try to tell yourself that you're not hurt and try to act normal, but it's not long before anger slides in. And then soon you start bargaining and feel the strong and bitter aftertaste of regret. At this point, you start to fantasize about how things would have been if you had stayed. And before you know it, you fall into depression. The same longing you had at the earlier phases of the relationship returns, but this time even stronger, overwhelming, extreme, and insatiable. Very similar to withdrawal symptoms. You might even call them on a drunken night. Intense heartbreaks can even lead to the broken heart syndrome, an actual physical pain in the heart. But thankfully, you'll heal, eventually.
Are you okay?
So good. Super, super good.
The same brain that triggered all the drama cleans up the mess. Your control, reasoning, and impulses help you feel better. It might push you to spend time around friends or listen to your favorite song just to help speed the healing process. And soon enough, you'll be ready to mingle again. It's a wild ride of brain chemistry, from Cupid's first strike to the very end. Don't forget to subscribe to learn more about human psychology and behavior, and leave a comment below regarding your opinion on the psychology behind love.